Hey there, friends. So we're going to start off with one of the meal portions of my trip. Don't worry about that. I burnt the inside of my crock pot doing potatoes without water, and that's what happened. So I don't recommend doing it, but it still functions beautifully, so I'm not going to fight it. First and foremost, love this crock pot. I will include a link because I think that if you're into traveling or you're into camping and you just kind of want to be a slow-mo or whatever, like I am, where you just set it and forget it, this is actually really awesome. It gets to like about 300 or 350 watts per hour or something like that, which is totally feasible if you have a decent solar system. So what we're going to do is, this particular meal is going to be burrito bowls. So we're going to start it off. This is going to be a lot of stuff to try to connect later because I can't do it in all one shot. So we have packages of chicken, frozen chicken, as you can see. So we'll start that one off with La Victoria red enchilada sauce. You can use whatever brand you want. I love La Victoria. They have a really good flavor as far as I can tell. Yeah, they don't have onion in it. Those of you who don't know, I do have a food allergy in onion. It does strip the lining of my stomach and causes me to bleed. It is really gross, and you don't need to know about that. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get the chicken in there and then put the sauce in there and we'll go from there. Next up on the list, so just so you guys see, there we are. Chicken with enchilada sauce is in there. I do have the handle up, so it is locked down, and I have it on high. So next up, I'm going to do black beans and lentils. I'm going to go ahead and start off by rinsing them off. Now, you can do whatever quantities you want. Usually, I do believe it's 2 cups water or broth per 1 cup of each thing. So I probably will do a cup each of beans and lentils. And then what I tend to do, as in me, I'm just going to fill the whole little crock. I have this little mini crock. It's great. I just tend to fill that sucker up and let it roll. So I'll show you from there, and we'll get there. Here we go. These are nice and rinsed, as you can see. Let's see if I can pull back some so it focuses better. Come on. Pick something to focus on, I guess. There we go. Much better. Okay, so I did rinse them, which did mix them up a bit. I did fill it all the way up to almost the top. Reason I'm doing that is because a lot of times I don't technically measure it. And sometimes that bean juice is kind of good too. So what I'm going to do with that next, I am going to add some bone broth and some garlic. I think with the amount that I'm doing, I might, let's see how many cloves I get and how big they are. So we'll go from there. All right. So we got a couple of cloves in there. The bone broth will settle in. I'm going to set that on high until everything gets nice and soft. And everything's really nice and incorporated. So this is going to take a couple of hours. Of course, it's a couple seconds for you guys. How magical. Anyway, so we do have a couple of cloves. Got some bone broth to add a little bit of flavor in there. And got the chicken going already. So I will see you guys in a couple seconds for you and a couple hours for me as we continue forward. Okay, here we are, guys. We are back 5 hours later. 4 hours later? I think it was like 4 hours later. Could be 5. Chicken is nice and done. And as you can see, that is hot and steamy. As you can see, let's try not to knock anything over. The beans look awesome. Let's see how squishy they are. I have parchment paper right here. Oh good, they're nice and squishy. My kids kind of like that texture. And when you see what I'm going to do with this, you're probably going to be like, what was the whole point of that? But I promise there is purpose behind it. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this all the way down. I'm going to turn this on low because I know a lot of you guys are going to be like, that's a lot of chicken considering what you're actually going to be doing with it. So, yeah, so I just wanted to show this to you guys. Give me 1 second. Here we are, we have a better view. One of my other favorite features of this is that the lid comes off. It's supposed to, so it's meant to. Great for cleaning, so just kind of showing that off right there. I'm going to go ahead and use the potato masher. What? A potato masher? Yes, a potato masher. And I'm going to go ahead and get this chicken shredded up some. I know you can use a fork and whatnot, but as you can see, it's tender enough that it's shredding. So I'm going to do that really quick. And here we are, my friends. It took quite a bit of elbow grease. Typically, what I actually tend to do is I put this on low and I do it overnight when I'm making these, or I make them first thing in the morning, so it has well over 12 hours of cook time. However, I didn't quite have the time for that. I had something else going on earlier this morning. So it's nice and shredded. And then now I'm going to take, I like the wide mouth, little fat chubby 8-ounce jars to measure with. And what we're going to do is I'm going to fill this with meat and then top it with sauce. And this is the grown-up portion. And then I will show you the kids portion that I usually use for this. All right, here we are on my poorly trimmed parchment paper that fits my dehydrator tray. I did, you can see, I did do it a little bit bigger than the actual tray to kind of cup the sauce. So I'm going to go ahead and take this, I'm going to put it on one side, and then I'm going to take another one of those and put it on the other side. And here we are, 2 adult portioned meat, burrito bowl chicken meat servings. So I'm going to go ahead and get that on the dehydrator. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys how it looks when it's all stacked together, because they stack really nice and I actually quite enjoy them. So I'm going to go ahead and do this so we can start on the kids portion. Here we are with the kids portion. This is a 4-ounce jar. Yeah, it's the half size. However, once you see how I put all of the meal together, you'll understand why it is, just about half size for them. So I'm going to go ahead and lay these out, see how many portions I can actually fit on one tray, because that would be really cool. And sorry guys, my cat decided to try to climb my leg while I'm in the middle of talking. So yeah, I'll go ahead and see how many I can actually fit onto this, because that'd be really cool if I can fit like 3 to 4 on this tray or something like that. Here we are, 4. So I should have known that because the other one was 8 ounces. This is 4 ounces. So we have 4 servings right here. I will have to creatively figure out a way to equitably divide the sauce later, but I'm going to go ahead and put this on here and move on to the next tray. All right, here we go. So 5 and 6 right there. So servings 5 and 6. Now let's move on to the beans. Now everybody is going to get the 4-ounce jar of beans and lentils. So I'll go ahead and fill that up and show you how that looks. And here we are, 1 jar of beans and lentils. As you can see, like I said, the overlap on this helps keep the juices in place. I'm going to flatten these out a hair so that way they do dehydrate a little bit more evenly. And I'm going to scoop that garlic out. I am actually going to save the garlic. I'm going to use it for something else. Depending on how much time we have, I will try to add it to the video queue. Just add a scoop more of this just to even it out. There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and put another one on there, and then finish off with the rest of the bean servings, and then we'll go from there. And here we are. So the last 3 servings. I need to separate that, actually. They don't need to get so friendly with each other. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and take you over to my dehydrator and show you what I do with that next. Fun fact, that is pretty much empty. I was kind of hoping that I would have enough for something else, but apparently not, and that's totally okay at this point. Sorry for my messy stove. That's gonna bug me. But yeah, so I'll take you right over there real quick. And here we are. All my trays lined up. It's nice and steamy in there. This is the Nesco 5 tray. I actually really like this. I know that I've had some friends ask me about recommendations on a beginner dehydrator, and this is actually one of my favorites. It does force air up from the bottom, but what's nice is that you have the ability to control your temperature and your time. So I actually already have this set to, I think, the highest, which is 24 hours. It's not overly loud. Let's see what our time is. Our temperature is 160 degrees Fahrenheit. So in 24 hours, this is going to look amazing. And in that time, I will start, not in this time, after I finish doing some other stuff, I will actually do the other part of this meal with my other dehydrator. So there you go. So I will see you guys in a few more seconds. And yeah, here we go, guys. So the other half of, well, other parts of this meal, this particular meal. I know there's a lot that goes into it. I just had to go a little over the top. So sorry, not sorry, because it's still really good. So we're going to do 1 cup rice, 1 cup quinoa. I'm going to pop it into the rice cooker. And first off, actually, hold on. We're going to wash the rice and the quinoa first. Yeah, that's just something I like to do. If you want, I can reference Mulan Man and be like, I don't want him coming after me, because I don't. I only want positivity on here, so that's where that goes. So I'm going to go ahead and get the 1 cup each, and then I'll wash it, and we'll go from there. Here we are, 4 cups of water, and I'm going to go ahead and put some tomato bouillon in for some good flavor. So give me 1 second. And here we are. We have a nice light dusting. So I'm going to go ahead and pop it in. And yeah, here we go. So go ahead and put this here. This is actually a multi-cooker, which includes rice, obviously. I'll go ahead and put it on that. It does include rice. It has all these other settings, which are really awesome. I actually got the idea to get this from Dollar Tree Dinners. She is awesome. There is a saute setting, so you can actually like saute in this. So this is actually something I bring to like road trips and stuff like that, where we're staying at like a hotel or whatnot, because all I have to do is just pop everything in there and just walk away and get settled. So this is like one of my top things to have on hand. I use this a lot. If I can, I'll see if I can find it online somewhere, give you a link, because this is really cool. Like I said, I use it a lot more than any normal person probably should, but it helps me out a lot. So it does come with like a steamer tray and a rice paddle and all that, and I think even a measuring cup. But with all the traveling that I've done, we do, I should say, things get lost pretty quickly. So I just use it as is and throw things in as I need it. But yeah, so we'll pop this out, or as soon as this is done, we'll kind of move forward from there, and you can see how we do that. Here we are, my friends. Rice is done. I'm going to do a little bit of fluffing. I don't know why, but we are. So we're going to fluff it up just a hair. And then I'm going to get that handy dandy 4-ounce jar out, and we're going to start filling it. And then we're going to start putting it on our dehydrator trays that are lined with parchment paper. So, yeah. Here we go. So as you can see, I got 3 of those jars in one, on one tray. So I'm going to go ahead and line that up, and we will count how many we have at the end. Here we are, my friends. So got it nice and spread out, all 4 trays, 1.5 cups each. So that puts us at about 12 servings or so of the rice. The reason it was kind of in a rush, it seemed a little hurried with the rice, is obviously rice you have to be a little bit extra cautious with. You want to make sure that you get the temperature where it needs to be to dehydrate as fast as you possibly can, because you don't want that fried rice syndrome stuff coming in. So sometimes rice can be a little tricky. So I'm going to go ahead and put the lid on this. Here we go, the lid is on. I do like this one. This is a decent starter one as well. The only thing is this one doesn't have temperature control, which a lot of people usually ask about. So it does not have temperature control. It is an on and off switch, so it is not a timer either, unless you like put it on a timer power strip or something like that. I do like this one though. This has the forced air from the top, which is really cool. I do have a couple others. Obviously the one down here is forced air from the bottom. This one's forced air from the top, and this dehydrates ridiculously fast. So this is the one I usually put my pastas and my rice in. So that said, as you can see, it's getting nice and foggy in there. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it on. And then, as you can see, my 2 main dehydrators are full. So I'm going to have to wait until one of them is available to continue on with this recipe. Like I said, yeah, it's a lot, but in the end, it is worth it. We're going to have 10 meals, or 10 servings for this, although this prep. So, and obviously this is only 1 meal. So we're going to do other meals as well. I made sure to give myself ample time for dehydration and setting stuff up before trip departure. So yeah, and also, as you can hear, this isn't actually obscenely loud. So neither one of these are obscenely loud, which is why I like them so much. So, like I said, I'll try to get you guys links, because a lot of people ask me, well, what do you specifically use? And this is what I specifically use. So I will try to find all I can find for you guys. That said, it is getting fairly late out. I like to do my dehydrating at night, so I don't have to sit here and smell deliciousness all day long. And so I will catch you guys when these are ready to go, and then we can move on to the next parts of this particular meal. Here we are, my friends. So, fair warning, on meal number 2, there is going to be a slight overlap, which is almost quite comical. So this is 24 hours. As you can see, nice and crispy. So I want to say that the beans were done quite well. Let's check the other stack. As you can see, the division actually stayed. Ooh, hear that? For you MSR folks, it's crispy, if you can't tell. Super crispy. So these are ready to go. I'm gonna, as you can see, I got a nice stack of jars over here. So each portion is going to go into a corresponding jar. So I'll show you that as soon as I get that done. Okay, I was trying to get a couple ingredients at one time. I wanted to show you this. This is not crispy. This is a little bit tender still. What that means is it needs to go back in. It needs to go back and get dehydrated just a little bit longer. So they're still warm-ish. What's nice is what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to get all the meat in, and then we'll go from there to see where else we can go with this, or what else we need to do with this, if I can throw some more stuff in. So we'll go ahead and do that really quick. I'm going to get the meat in, and then we'll go from there really quick. Okay, guys, I do have some news. It looks like, let's see if I can find it. This one's still got a little bit of bend to it. So these, like I said, these are still kind of slightly warm, but this is the type of bend that means that it's going to stay that way when it cools. And it's not necessarily bad, but I would prefer crispy crunchy. So all of my beans do have some soft spots. So what we're going to do is we're going to mix it up a little bit. Get those soft spots kind of out in the open. And then I'm going to transfer these over to this one so that I can have two completely clean trays. And I will show you what we'll do with that afterwards. So as you can see the difference really quick. This is the grown-up one, so it has a little bit more meat. My kids get, they obviously are going to have enough meat and protein in here. We're going to go ahead and mix these up. I'm going to get these back onto the thing, and then we're going to move on with the two clear trays in order to do something else with those that is still related to the burrito bowls. All right, guys, so sorry about that. Yeah, beans do funny things like that sometimes, and I guess I just kind of bunched them up a little more than I should have. I guess I was a little overzealous trying to make as much space as possible. So now we're going to go ahead and go with corn. We don't have a whole lot of corn a lot of times, but this adds a little bit of a fresh crispiness to the flavor. I usually do it right out of the freezer pack, so these are still frozen. And they stay really, really super duper sweet, which is really nice, and it adds a really nice sweetness to it. So I'm going to go ahead and line these up. These ones I'm not going to measure out until they're dehydrated. So this one's just going to be laying it out. And here we are. It's on the trays. I'm going to go ahead and put those on there. I don't think I really need to show you guys these sitting on the dehydrator right now. I am going to set it for 24 hours yet again. These should not have the same issue as the beans, as these are still frozen and they're not going to really stick together once they thaw out and then go into the dehydration phase like almost right away. So the beans were a little mushy and then I crowded them together a little tightly. So I do recommend not doing that more often than that. So to be honest, my favorite dehydrator was zapped during a power surge outage thing while I was dehydrating. So that's actually what happened to my favorite one, and that one was a forced air through the side and the tray stacked. It was a beautiful one. I loved that one. So I'm currently saving up for another one of those. That one's a little bit more expensive, but it is a heavily favored one. Like I said, this one's actually still really, really good. You just have to accommodate just a little bit differently, which I don't really have an issue with. So that said, I'm going to pop these on there, set it for 24 hours, and then I will see you guys then. Actually, we're going to make it just under a quarter cup, just so make sure that it all fits in there. I had hoped that I had more than enough for the 10 jars, but I don't think that's actually going to be the case, which is totally fine. I do believe I have some more in the freezer, so I can always make more because there is another meal that I will be needing more dehydrated corn for. So on that note, I'll go ahead and finish milling these so I can show you what it looks like. And here we go, my friends. So burrito bowl in a jar, dehydrated, and we got a meal, so we got 10 of those. which is really awesome. So there you go, guys. This is the first one. Obviously, stay tuned, hopefully. I will remember as we're en route to actually show you the process of rehydration while we're at our stops. So that said, I hope you guys are healthy, safe, and happy, and I'll see you next time.